Yes, lads, what's going on? Yorkie here, and today we're going to be answering one of the biggest questions I get on the channel. And that's basically what my settings, what the sliders. There's normally a lot of slider talk. I've not noticed as much this year, and I'm not sure there's as many people playing with the sliders. But let's go through what settings I use and what sliders I use so far for the career mode this year. Now, if we just hop into the settings, I don't change any of the controls. We're running exactly what it is right at the start of the game. We'll hop into the game settings, and this is what we're on competitive preset. I've seen a few people change this. I just haven't. I don't like timed finishing though. I think with timed finishing it makes it a little bit too easy, because if you time your finishing, usually it goes in, or at least that's the premise of what's supposed to happen. But apart from that, everything just exactly as it is, exactly how you start the game. We're still using the tactical defending. I don't know, I feel like as the year has gone on, we're like a month into the game now, maybe even a little bit more. I've got better. I have got better at the defending, but I must admit, if you're just picking this game up now, I was trash at the start. If you don't worry about it too much. My match settings at the minute are 4 minutes legendary. We did 3 minutes legendary last year. I prefer 4 minutes. I think we're getting better highlights with 4 minutes this year. There's a lot more dual patches in the game with the sliders I use. And legendary, I just prefer it. I would rather make legendary harder than go up to ultimate. Now, the main reason for that, in years that have gone by, people have said that ultimate just changes the AI to 99 overall every player. I don't want it to feel like that. I'm not sure if that's still the case, but to avoid that specific risk, we play on legendary. I don't have the competitor or the player-based difficulty. I just find that these two make players seem extremely unrealistic, especially the competitor mode. You've got players that should never be able to do tricks and flicks, doing tricks and flicks. It's just not for me. I also play on slow paced as well. I feel like EA's games are usually quite quick, so I play it on slow paced. But to be honest with you, default was fine when I started the game out. Now, another thing that gets asked all the time is what camera we use. Is it? It's just co-op. I've used co-op for a long time. 10 high, 1 zoom. Feel like you can see more than enough of the pitch to help you make the decisions you need when choosing who to pass to, so on and so forth. So co-op, for me, it's just the one. It's been the one for a while. Tried the 2 new cameras. I don't know, just could not settle with them, so we're sticking with co-op for now. Visual, it is what it is. You pick whatever you want for this one. I like the identificator with the power bar now above it and the player name, but that's just me. And when it comes to rules, obviously injuries on, offsides on, bookings on. I thought this was really interesting that you could change some of this stuff. I didn't realize that. That might be new to this year's game. I don't remember it being there in last year's game. And I do have handball on, except from penalties. I just noticed when we had it on for penalties, there were way too many. I've toyed with the idea of putting it back on to just handballs everywhere on the pitch, but I think for now, just having it outside the box makes the most sense. Now, this is a new setting this year. Referee strictness. I really like this. I only found this yesterday, so you won't have seen any changes in the Spurs career mode, but I am going to be testing this out. I'm definitely not going to be any more lenient, because the game is already pretty lenient on default. And if you want a more arcade kind of style, you could go very lenient. You just smash into players, but I want it to be a little bit more strict. I want the play to be broken up more. I want there to be more fouls. So I think I'm going to try strict. I think very strict might be a little bit too much, but I can't judge on this right now because I haven't tried it. But I would recommend that if you're noticing that you want a little bit more breakup of play, you want a few more fouls being given, so on and so forth, you just knock it up to strict and see how it goes. What's the worst that can happen? Then now for sliders, this is probably the big thing. This is probably what people want to see the most. I haven't messed about with them that much this year. I have kind of taken from last year's game to help me build the sliders. And this is what we're rocking with. There isn't much change between the CPU and myself. If anything, I've made stuff more harsh with the settings. I think I've got worse pass error and shot error and stuff like that. But really, I've done stuff to slow the game down, but give more acceleration. I have 1 acceleration more than the AI. And so far, that 1 acceleration more seems to have made the biggest difference, because my quicker players are now actually quicker than some of their defenders, which was exactly what I was trying to create. I can't take any credit for this. This was a suggestion in the comments, but I've always noticed in FIFA and now in FC is you will have a forward player trying to run beyond someone. They're a million times quicker than them, and Harry Maguire will keep up with Mbappe. And that drives me insane. It's not realistic whatsoever. I hate that. So I changed the acceleration just a little bit. Either way, make you have more acceleration than the AI. And hey, it's fixed the problem. I'm one of those people who likes the injury frequency up a lot more. I turned the severity down because I was getting a few too many broken toes, but I don't think there's ever been enough injuries in this game, and I'm trying to go for a more realistic approach to a career mode. I have made the goalkeepers better for me and for the AI, but I'm not sure I'm going to keep the goalkeeper being better now at 52 for me. I've noticed recently in recent patches that goalkeepers have got a lot better, but if you remember at the start of the game coming out, goalkeepers were trash. So that's why this was tweaked. I'll probably go back down to 50 for the foreseeable future, but we'll see who plays with it. I have improved the marking. I think marking's terrible on the game. Mine's improved and the CPU's is improved, but I want you to know this. When you improve the CPU's marking, that just means they mark you more tightly. If you're very good at passing your way out of trouble, this will actually make the game easier for you. Don't just look at this marking slider and go, okay, if I improve the marking, it makes them better defensively. No, that is not the case. In fact, in some cases, if you're someone who struggles to break down more compact team, lower the marking so they stand off you more and form like a box, and lower the line height and all of that and the line length. It will make them far more compact and far harder to break down. I haven't messed with these sliders because I usually mess with them on a game-by-game basis. But we'll get into that in a minute. We've got the first touch control error as 54 for the CPU. I'm just trying to force more mistakes in the game in general. That's why the pass errors are up and the first touch are up. Obviously, ours is much worse with a pass error. Leads me to a lot of frustration, but it does mean that the play breaks up a lot more. And then the first touch control for us is 58 as well. None of this should be done to make the game too difficult that you don't enjoy it, but it's more done just for me to see a little bit more of a realistic outcome to games and for them to feel a little bit more realistic than, I don't know, arcadey. But I'm not just creating these sliders and changing these sliders just to make the game outwardly very difficult. I would imagine if I'm a worse team than Tottenham right now, I'm going to struggle even more. I've got some good players. But now one of the biggest things with the sliders that I do game by game, this is probably the key reason why the game changes so much depending who I'm playing against, is I tweak these 6 sliders right here, depending who I play. Now, I'm going to break this down really simply, really quickly, so that you guys can do it yourselves, because I could sit here and drone on and talk about it all day long. But basically, if you're playing Burnley, you're playing Everton, Sean Dyche is in charge, I'm going to lower the marking. I'm going to keep the run frequency maybe the same. I might lower it a little bit so they commit less bodies forward. The line height, they're going to play deeper. The line length is going to be shorter. They're going to be more compact. Same with the line width. I'm just going to drop these. I'm going to do that. And the fullbacks won't be bombing forward because it's Everton. That's what I do. They're more compact. They're harder to break down. They're going to commit less forward. They're going to probably have less chances, but they're also going to be much more difficult for you to score past. That's the whole premise of this. That is the idea behind this. Trust me, at some points, I've lowered this too much and it is near impossible to break them down. And yeah, you get very, very angry and very frustrated. I'm not saying this should just be for Everton. I'm just using this as an example. When you play against a team that is going to be more defensive, this is what you want to use. And of course, it's just roles reversed. If you're playing someone like Liverpool, they're going to press you more, so I'll bring their marking up. The run frequency, they're going to be making all kinds of runs. The same if you're playing against Arsenal. The line height goes up, the line length, the line width, and the fullbacks, I'll bring them more forward. With Man City, I actually don't bring the fullbacks more forward because they play more compact. I'm not saying you should do this every game. I get it. It can be a pain. You might just want a fits-all kind of slider. But this is just what I've done to enhance my gameplay when I play against certain sides. I'm not going to sit here and just lie to you and say, yeah, I go in every single game and I change the exact same precise numbers every time. I don't. I'll always just do a roundabout go of that. But I do think over a season, it makes it a lot more fun and a lot more interesting because I'm going to have to change how I play the game depending who I play again. And I found when it comes to sliders, that's been the most enjoyable way for me to play. So that's how I do it. That's how I use the sliders for the Tottenham series and for the rest of the series that I'll do as we continue throughout the game. Now, this is never an exact science because patches change the game, in my opinion, quite a bit. Some people don't feel they do. Some people feel they don't. I guess since I sit down and play this game for so many hours every year, I just give him my opinion on what I feel. So my sliders will change throughout the year, but the base of how I slow the game down usually stays exactly the same. But that's going to be it for this video. Short and sweet. People ask this a lot. I'm probably going to do a few more of these throughout the year of giving my thoughts on certain stuff on the game as we go forward. But that's it for me. The Tottenham career mode will be back very soon. I hope you're enjoying it. If you're new to the channel, smash subscribe, hit the like button for more career mode content stuff. And I will see you in whichever video you click on next.